Christmas, a time of year when we take time off from work, put our feet up and gorge on platefuls of mince pies and Brussels sprouts. But believe it or not, there are people who work on Christmas Day. One of these people is Tim Ack, who runs this corner convenience store in Winton. It sells all the essential items that you would expect, such as bread, milk, eggs and flour, all the ingredients you need for your Yorkshire puddings. But this Christmas, it will be open when most other shops are shut. There are millions of people in the UK who, like Tim, do not celebrate Christmas as they belong to faiths such as Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism and Judaism, each of whom have their own religious holidays such as Hanukkah, Ramadan and Diwali. Why do you open on Christmas Day?
Why? Because of the good business in that day. Everyone's shut, so when people needs to go, we are open. They will be here.
Does it not bother you that everywhere else shuts and celebrates Christmas?
Yeah, it does, but money is important to them.
Do you get many customers on Christmas Day?
Yeah, we do. Till like 4 o'clock. After 4 is dead.
And what sort of things do they buy?
They buy, it's like bread meat, many things, and the presents, Bales or Amarula, like last minute's presents.
It's not just the retail sector that remains open on Christmas Day. What about the emergency services, the policemen, the firemen and those that work in hospitals, or the transportation services, those that work in airports, those who drive the trains and the taxis, keeping Britain moving this Christmas? If you've had one too many mulled wines, you may need some help getting home. In which case, it's time to call your friendly neighbourhood taxi service. You may be lucky enough to be picked up by Derek Heritage. I had an opportunity to speak with him at the start of his shift. How many Christmases have you worked before?
Well, I've been driving for about 32 years now, and I've worked most of those Christmases, either half the day or sometimes full days. There's quite a demand, not so much as demand as there used to be. I mean, there's no buses to start off with, which obviously means that people need to get to their families. Most of the families want to have a drink, so we either bring people home from visiting their families or we do the return journey.
And why do you personally work?
Well, we like to cover the work. We've got to keep our customers that use us 365 days a year happy. And also, it's extra rate. There's a 50% extra. It's not double like some people think. It's 50% on the day rate. And yeah, there's a bit of business about. Not so much as before, due to the fact we've got Muslim drivers now, and they do an awful lot of work because it's not a religious day for them. They celebrate days like Eid.
And because you work on Christmas Day, what do you do to celebrate Christmas?
Well, I have a late tea with my family, and I do pop home at some point during the day. Not lunchtime, because that's a busy time. But yeah, I do spend some time with the family at some point.
If you're going away this Christmas, chances are you'll be staying in a hotel like this. And over 2.5 million of us do leave home for the Yuletide period. I've come to the Bournemouth coast to meet Jennifer Deavy, the manager of the Days Hotel, to find out what it is like for those in the hospitality industry who stay open over Christmas. Have you always stayed open on Christmas Day?
The only time we haven't stayed open on Christmas Day, we landed up with 27 for Christmas lunch, which was the family, so I decided that we might just as well open. After breakfast, we have present opening, so that families who are all down here together can exchange presents, and we have that all in one room because it gives a really Christmassy atmosphere.
So what's for Christmas dinner? How many people do you reckon you serve?
I would think we will have about 180. We normally have about 155, 160 in the hotel, and then it's about 20, 24 in extra for Christmas dinner.
How many members of staff do you have on Christmas Day?
That would be, I would say, anything up to about sort of 50 or 60.
Is that a lot more than you have on an ordinary day at the hotel?
Yes, at Christmas lunch. Christmas lunch is what makes the difference because we have quite a few non-residents.
When do you start planning Christmas?
Basically, as soon as the new year comes, we have to learn the lessons of what's gone really well and we want to repeat, and what perhaps hasn't gone quite so well, and how we need to adjust it in order to get that part of Christmas going better.
Do you personally mind working on Christmas Day?
Just before Christmas, when everyone's discussing what are you doing on Christmas Day, yes, we're having the family. It can be quite hard. But when it comes to Christmas Day, you enjoy it as well. We love Christmas because if we didn't enjoy it, the guests wouldn't enjoy it either. We have quite a lot of foreign staff, and the restaurant staff all introduce themselves on Christmas Eve, where they say their name, the country they come from, and Happy Christmas in their own language, and the guests just love it.
Because you work on Christmas Day, do you rearrange your own Christmas Day?
Yes, we do. We've just had Christmas up near Cheltenham in a lovely, huge farmhouse with all the family, Christmas Santa, Christmas dinner and everything.
So, over the festive period, whether you're grabbing some last-minute essentials, phoning a cab to get you from A to B, or spending the day away from home, remember the people who keep Britain going on Christmas Day.